It was so bad that by 1906, over 100 people had died from playing football, and thousands.
The entire history of the NFL. So the entire history of the NFL is just 27 minutes, 21 seconds. Yeah, I know it's just like a quick summary though, but like, yeah. So we're hoping on this the entire history of the NFL, continue with our American football series. Yeah, the last one we just got like a beginner guide to the sports, and this is like their summary of the entire history. So let me not talk too much. Let's jump on this.
Did you know the NFL used to look like this? That the field used to be this small, or that players didn't use helmets. Much has changed throughout the years. So, how did we get here? Well, it all started back in 1892, when the sport was stolen. England made up this crazy game called rugby, using...
I just knew it. Nothing about America can ever be original. Never. Nothing. Like, they are the same people that literally thinks that they are the ones owners of French fries. It's literally in the name. French fries. I knew these people took this stole this sport from rugby. Like, it's the same shape of ball, like the same gra, the same rough handling and all that. Like, that is USA for you.
this field and this ball. So Americans just took everything and called it football. The only difference was they made football extremely deadly, because while they both didn't wear any helmets or pads, instead of tackling, football players would fist fight, bite each other's ears off, or even
Bite each other's ears off, okay. Suarez will be a very good American football player too.
Bruh.
Don't mind me, respect to Luis Suarez.
gouge each other's eyes out. It was so bad that by 1906, over 100 people had died from playing football, and
Over 100 people died from playing the sports back then, and over a thousand disabled. And you guys still made it legal to play the sports. This is one of the reasons why women live longer than men. Yeah, this is.
thousands of others became disabled. But in 1920, football became a game instead of a crime, when a player named Jim Thorpe formed the first ever pro football league, and finally introduced some rules which stopped players from dying so much. They got some shoulder pads and leather helmets, told everyone to stop fist fighting, and legalized passing the ball. So now that things were official, they decided to name the league, calling it the American Professional Football Association, or
Okay, the American Professional Football Associ- the American Football Professional Association, that is AFPA, or what is it?
APFA. Yeah,
The American
that name was
Professional
booty. So
the American Professional Football Association. The guy just tried to say that name was booty. Uh, doesn't sound bad, but yeah, I agree with you. Name is ass. NFA is better.
So, 2 years later they changed it, and in 1922, the world was finally blessed with the NFL. Now, there's 14 chapters in the NFL's history, and next up we got 1922, an era where the league was terrible. There was no Super Bowl, no game schedule.
What? What is this? Oh my God! It's like, they have like the mentality of the World War, so I'm not surprised.
Teams would literally play whenever they wanted. And when it comes to players, the pay was so bad, it wasn't a full-time gig. So the league was filled with milkmen and coal miners in jerseys. And let's just say that you were a fan that could look past all of that. Were you really gonna support the Columbus Panhandles, the Moline Universal Tractors, or whatever the hell this is? Yeah, Those were real NFL teams. It was impossible to be a fan, and the NFL knew it too, cause the league just wasn't growing. Over the next 20 years, things only got worse. 14
Wait, what did I just
growing. Over the next 20 or whatever the hell this is. Yeah.
Oh my day. What the hell is this? This is like a human face. Oh, this is a human face on a dog's body or something.
Those were real NFL teams. It was impossible to be a fan, and the NFL knew it too, cause the league just wasn't growing. Over the next 20 years, things
See this guy. What is this? What is Are you
only got worse. 14 different teams went bankrupt, and those that did survive had to take out loans to pay their players. Plus, the NFL wasn't even the best football league. College football was literally 20 times more popular. It was looking like the beginning of the end. But in 1949, the NFL came up with a genius solution, implementing 3 key changes that no other league had at the time.
Oh my
This game,
uh,
you're not ready for it.
They added set game schedules, started televising games, and to help with reducing injuries, the NFL introduced
television helped a lot when it comes to sports entertainment.
plastic helmets.
The inventor sure has faith in his helmet, for he's going to try it out himself. And now watch him take it. Right on.
That's what she said. Oh, what? How will I just like that allow someone to keep quiet?
For he's going to try it out himself. And now watch him take it. Right on the old bean.
Yeah, along with some new teams like the Colts, Browns, and 49ers. And all these changes worked because the 1958 NFL Championship had become the most watched sporting event in TV history. See, the 2 biggest teams in the league, the New York Giants and Baltimore Colts, were facing off. And after going back and forth all game, the 2 teams went into the first ever sudden death overtime. So everyone and their mom tuned in. I'm talking 45 million people. Literally 9 times more than the year before, and after the Colts took home the W, it became forever nicknamed the greatest game ever played.
Oh, now I see. That is actually a good start. That's actually a good start to how it started.
In the 1960s, a rival league was formed called the AFL, which introduced teams like the Texans, Chargers, Bills, Raiders, and Patriots. And their owners were way more rich and way more greedy, so they were trying to take the NFL
Mullah. Papa Perez. I'm looking at you. If you don't know who Papa Perez is, he's the president of Real Madrid football team. European football. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so let's get back to American football.
down by any means necessary, like stealing their players, nabbing their TV contracts. They even paid players so much that the NFL couldn't afford to stay in business. So the NFL had no choice but to play dirty back by stealing the AFL star players, like Pete Gogolak. But after 7 years of back and forth, it became clear nobody was winning. So to avoid bankruptcy, the 2 decided to merge and become one league, called the NFL. Again. Now, we've got 9 more
That makes sense.
chapters about the NFL's history coming up. And that's not all. We'll talk about the future too, because the NFL will be implementing artificial intelligence that predicts plays before they even happen. And the league wants to replace refs with AI. Yeah, the NFL's changing a lot. Now, in 1972, one of the most controversial moments in NFL history would happen. During the final play of a 1972 AFC playoff game, the Steelers quarterback threw the ball. It bounced off a player's helmet, and not only that, it somehow fell into another player's hands, and the Steelers scored the game-winning touchdown. This play was so incredible, it became forever known as the Immaculate Reception. But it somehow fell into another player's hands, and the Steelers scored the game-winning touchdown. This play was so incredible. Other player's hands, and the Steelers scored the game-winning touchdown. This play was so incredible.
I see you. I see you.
It became forever known as the Immaculate Reception. But here's the problem. Back then, once the ball left a quarterback's hands, an offensive player could not catch a pass that had been touched by another offensive player, unless a defensive player had touched the ball. But when you watch the tape back, it's impossible to tell if a defensive player ever actually touched the ball. So this instantly sparked outrage, with Raiders players and fans saying that catch should not have counted.
When a guy crosses a goal line, it's either a touchdown or it's not. They didn't call it a touchdown. They didn't know if it was a touchdown. I went out, they said, get away, we don't know what happened. So now the referee leaves.
That can be very, very frustrating. Like, very, very frustrating.
That huddle, and he goes over to the dugout on the Pittsburgh Steelers side, and he gets on the phone, and he makes a call to someone. Then he hangs up, then he walks out into the middle of the field and says touchdown. 5 or 10 minutes later.
We were in the locker room. John came in and just said, guys, we got screwed.
They call it the Immaculate Reception. I call it the Immaculate Deception.
Yeah, and it's still
Lions. Pops, you got lions.
being debated to this day. The rest of the decade, though, was all about domination, because the Steelers became a dynasty, winning 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, with 9 Hall of Fame players on their team.
Yeah, I had like Super Bowl, like, how that is, like you guys Champions League or something like that in football, European football. We have what we call the Champions League, where all the good best teams in Europe play and then win the Champions League trophy, like the biggest club trophy in football as a sport. And let me just say in Europe though, because it's only European club teams that have been involved in it. So yeah. I heard it's like a big thing in USA. Yeah.
It was unthinkable, but they weren't alone, because the Dallas Cowboys won 2 Super Bowls, and were actually so good, they became known as America's team. But nobody won like the Miami Dolphins, because to this day, they're the only team in NFL history to have completed a perfect record season, going 17-0.
That's it. It's over. Way to go, Nicky. That's right, man.
However, in 1980, the NFL was forced to prepare for his funeral. See, over the last decade, there were 3 separate plane crashes carrying sports teams, from the Marshall University football team to the University of Evansville and the United States boxing team. All resulting in the deaths of 191 people.
Good evening, a chartered jet
191.
carrying the Marshall University football team home to West Virginia crashed last night as it tried to land at the Huntington Airport. All 75 persons aboard were killed. It was the worst plane crash in the United States so far this year.
This shook the sports world and made the NFL completely change their views on safety. So they cooked up all kinds of guidelines, like the disaster draft, where if a team suffers a tragedy, the league will host an emergency draft to replace their players. But the NFL wanted to improve safety on the field too, so they implemented stricter rules on contact to the head, neck, and face, making sure the chances of disaster were slim to none, which is exactly what the league needed. In 1985, the 49ers drafted the greatest wide receiver of all time, a man who still holds the most receiving yards in NFL history and has the most touchdowns of all time, the one and only Jerry Rice. But he wasn't
Rice. I know another Rice though. Another Rice that is cooking in that snap.
the only legend on the Niners, because he teamed up with legendary quarterback Joe Montana, and together, those two dominated the rest of the 80s, winning 2 Super Bowls together. These dudes were NFL stars, but by the 90s, an unlikely star would come around to steal the spotlight. The Super Bowl was the most popular thing on TV, pulling in an average 80
Michael Jackson.
80 million viewers per year. But there was a problem. The halftime shows sucked, and they knew that if they wanted to increase their viewership, they had to get their act together, do something that would get everyone talking about the Super Bowl. So they called up the biggest star in the world, Michael Jackson, and he put on the performance of a lifetime, with viewership exploding to an insane 133 million.
Fireworks, hurricane machines, and the moonwalker himself formed the centerpiece of the highest-rated
I can't dance to save my life.
television broadcast of all time.
This was the moment that halftime shows became the must-see event of the year. I mean, people would tune in just to see the halftime show, and that's still the case to this day. It was June 12, 1994. Everyone was just going about their day when news broke that the ex-wife of one of the NFL's biggest stars, O.J. Simpson, was stabbed to death. People were shocked and started to question
Why are human beings like this?
if O.J. had anything to do with it.
Hey, how's that New Year's resolution going? What are you talking about? You know, that YouTube channel you say you're gonna start? Well...
But just a couple of days after the murder, every TV station was hit with a breaking news alert saying,
O.J. Simpson vanishes after being charged for a crime his fans never dreamed he could commit.
Unbelievably, the most watched, most wondered about man in America has gone missing tonight. He apparently disappeared from under the noses of his lawyers and doctors this afternoon, dodged an arranged surrender, and vanished into the Los Angeles haze. There is nothing like this in memory. Nothing.
I understand we're going to go to a live picture in Los Angeles. Okay.
Police believe he is in that vehicle. Police radio is saying that Simpson, the passenger in the car, has a gun at his head.
This was insane. Like, just imagine a player today like Tom Brady going on the run for murder. It was unlike anything the world had ever seen. So once word got around, over 95 million people tuned in to watch O.J. speed down the LA highway as he narrowly missed hitting civilians on the road.
Highway Patrol. Yeah, I think I just saw O.J. Simpson on the 5 freeway, and we like looked at him, you know? And he like stared us down like he was dead.
And finally, after a
some GTA shit. Some GTA shit going down.
45-minute chase, O.J. surrendered. But the case was far from over, because as O.J. went to trial, he argued that he had nothing to do with the murders, the evidence had been mishandled, and that the cops had been racist against him. But despite his pleas, all signs pointed to O.J. being guilty. Hell, the entire public knew it. Like, why would you run from the police like that if you're innocent? But in the end, one crucial piece of evidence saved O.J.'s life.
Item number 9, the Rockingham glove. Your Honor, at this time, the people would ask that Mr. Simpson step forward and try on the glove recovered at Bundy as well as the glove recovered at Rockingham.
Yes. All right. Thank you, counsel.
It makes no sense. It doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant,
Exactly.
Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder.
Yeah, and he had all charges dropped against him. To this day, though, people still think O.J. really did it. And to be honest, it's because of things like this.
Just did you do it?
No, I didn't.
After we finished filming, O.J. said to me that he had a surprise for me, and I genuinely was surprised. I think it was his idea of a joke.
Now, this moment really marked the beginning of NFL players going off the deep end, because the rest of the 90s were just as unhinged. Ray Caruth hired a hitman to shoot his girlfriend. Alonzo Spellman threatened to kill himself with a landline telephone, all because his doctor was late to his appointment. And Cecil Collins was arrested for breaking into a woman's house to watch her sleep. He just stood there and watched. Now, while crime ruled the 90s, cash ruled the 2000s. Between merchandise, TV deals, and sponsorships, business was booming. The NFL was now worth $12 billion, and players wanted their piece of the bag too. So to keep their stars happy,
money.
the NFL was forced to pay up big time, which had Brett Favre now making $47 million for 7 years. Randy Moss was making $66 million for 8 years. Hell, even safeties like Lawyer Malloy were making $35 million for 7 years. NFL players were getting you money, but in 2001, Drew Bledsoe smashed all the records because he was considered the best quarterback in the league, and the Patriots wanted to make sure their star was taken care of, so they offered a record-breaking $103 million contract for 10 years. But by 2001, all of that money went to waste, because immediately after, Drew suffered a collapsed lung and was sidelined for the entire season. The Patriots were the favorite to win it all that season, and now they were missing.
One thing about being an athlete, health is one slight mistake or injury can just downfall of an athlete.
Their star quarterback and had to rely on their backup. A guy with no experience was the 199th pick in the draft.
You saw this tall, gangly.
Why did that show this guy like this? We need the guy like this guy see Orafa me.
Looking kid, looked like haven't ever seen a weight room. Ran a 5.2 something, one of the slowest quarterbacks in the combine.
Tom Brady has been put into quarterback and Drew Bledsoe taken out.
Tom Brady, the second-year quarterback from the University of Michigan, who threw only 3 passes in his rookie year last year, 1 for 3, a 6-yard completion, and this is his first duty of 2001. So apparently Bledsoe knocked around a little more than it appeared, and Brady in charge against 5 defensive backs.
This man came in and instantly became a star, leading the team to a Super Bowl and winning it all that season. Brady quickly became the face of
God did. That is just one thing about it. Like, your time will come when you least expect it. You see?
The Patriots, and soon after, the entire NFL. Yeah, if it wasn't for Drew's injury, Tom Brady might have never happened. But by 2003, there was another quarterback who was dominating the field. A man that could move like a running back, throw bombs like Tom Brady, and had defenses dropping to their knees. I'm talking about Michael Vick. See, for the first time ever, the league saw a quarterback.
The person that is knocking there, I told you that I'm doing something. Yeah, when I was going there, I told you nobody should come and knock. You put edit this video, you see.
Back that could beat you with no help and could run into the end zone at any moment. Before Michael Vick, quarterbacks were mostly handing off or throwing the ball, but now you had to worry about a quarterback being a damn running back. And this style of play paved the way for future dual threats, like Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton, and Russell Wilson. At this point, the NFL was in its prime, but something happened in 2004 that scarred NFL.
Every web designer has been there. You're on a call with a client and they end it with those magical words.
NFL fans for life.
Houston!
It was the Super Bowl 38 halftime show. Over 144 million people watching live. You had little kids to grandparents, all huddled around their TV. And they were all excited to see 2 of the biggest stars in the world perform. Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake. So when they finally took the stage, the world shook. But during the final minutes of their epic performance, Justin was supposed to rip off a part of Janet's costume to reveal another layer of her outfit, but instead, she had a wardrobe malfunction. And this went down as the legendary nipple gate.
Damn.
Was it planned, Janet?
No.
It was not planned.
Well, what people don't understand is he was to take and rip the piece off that he did.
The leather piece.
Right, but more came off than what was supposed to.
Now, over the next 3 years, the only exciting thing to happen was Peyton Manning having his glow-up, winning his second MVP, and taking home his first ring. And also, the NFL decided to ban touchdown celebrations. One of the dumbest decisions the NFL's ever made. But in 2007, shit really hit.
Why will you ban touchdown celebrations? And like even in football, you just like you say you want to ban celebrating after scoring a goal. That would just be bad for both the fans and both the organizers of the league and everything.
The fan, because an entire team's reputation was ruined. See, it was the first week of the season, and the Patriots were destroying the Jets.
Able to go long for Moss. Moss has it.
Damn, see that throw. That was, don't forget about the throw. See the catch.
First touchdown as a Patriot.
It seemed like the Patriots somehow knew every one of the Jets' moves. And that's because they did. Because it turned out they were spying on the Jets, using hidden cameras. And when the NFL launched an investigation, they found out the Pats had been creeping on not only the Jets, but the entire league for almost 8 years. Yeah, doing.
Why? It is just like I'm just making reference to football. This is just like super strikers. What do we call those guys again? I've forgotten their name, but they cheat a lot.
England was a bunch of damn cheaters. So the NFL fined their ass $250,000 and made them give up their 2008 first round pick. But despite getting caught and having a target on their back, nothing could stop the Patriots. Cause that same season, they went on to dominate the league. I mean, they managed to put together the greatest team the NFL had ever seen. They had guys like Randy Moss, Lawrence Maroney, Vince Wilfork, and Sammy Morris all teamed up with Tom Brady. And together, they went 16-0. All they had to do was win the Super Bowl, and they would have completed a perfect season. So, going into the big game, it seemed like a lock for the Patriots. And with a minute left, with the Patriots up, it looked like they were gonna go undefeated until the Giants made the greatest catch in NFL history.
Pressure from Thomas off the edge. Eli Manning stays on his feet, airs it out down the field. It is caught by.
Let's go, Giants! I kind of want a single person here.
Tyree! Oh my God! This ball's thrown and Tyree just goes up for it like a.
That was a great catch.
Basketball player Harrison trying to knock it down. And Eli, man, I don't know how he got out of there. I thought he was on the ground, and then he came out of the pile and just slings it. Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York. The Giants have won the Super Bowl.
But for Brady and the Patriots, this was the worst moment of their lives. Keep in mind though, he was only 30 years old, so he knew he would return next year better than ever. Well,
he was only 30 years old. That is old now. That is old. Which means he was only 30 years old. In football, you're already in your retirement age. Like in football, in European football, you're already in your retirement age. You don't know what is going to happen next season. Or this, like, Maybe it works different in years. Maybe when they are 30, they are very young and vibrant. I don't know.
That is if he wasn't killed.
Select and upload your audio file.
Cause in 2009, the Saints were caught trying to kill quarterbacks. See, after the playoffs, the Vikings filed a complaint to the NFL, accusing the Saints of purposely trying to injure them. So the league launched an investigation into the Saints and discovered something sinister.
Today, our partners at Yahoo Sports uncovered a recording, and on it, a New Orleans coach graphically telling players to inflict injuries in a big playoff game.
Tie at the top.
Why now? Why? That is just wrong. I don't support stuff like that. That is just wrong. Bad sportsmanship.
Got a lot of guys up at the top. Kill the hit, the body will die. Kill the hit, the body will die. We've got to do everything in the world to make sure we kill Frank Gore's head. We want him running sideways. We want his head sideways.
The Saints were giving players bonuses for tearing ACL.
Why? For what? Just for a trophy and some amount that will just pay you, but you end up just and humans.
Hitting guys with existing injuries, and even paying them $35 grand to try and permanently injure the Vikings quarterback. But in the end, the Saints got hit the hardest, because 4 of their players were suspended for a total of 31 games, and 2 of their coaches were suspended for the entire season.
That says you guys right. Anthony Will Smith, Jordan Vilma, Kurt Fujita, Greg Williams, Saint Peyton. That serves you guys right.
Over the next few years, we saw some of the most ridiculous moments in NFL history. Marshawn Lynch had a touchdown that was so crazy, all the fans cheering caused a 2.0 magnitude earthquake. Brett Favre sent nudes to a Jets employee and got fined 50 grand, and a snowstorm caused the Vikings' whole stadium to collapse, causing $18.3 million in damages. It was ridiculous. But the most ridiculous thing was how the NFL almost ruined the league for a season. See, the refs felt like they were overworked and underpaid, so they went on strike, saying the NFL was a bunch of cheap asses, and they weren't going to work until they got a fair deal. But the NFL responded by laughing in their face and hiring the worst replacements imaginable. You had refs that had only ever reffed in a high school game, and even some that had only reffed in a lingerie football league. Yeah, those were the guys now reffing in the NFL, and it went about as horribly as you'd expect. They were out there blowing calls and completely ruining games. Like the Fail Mare, where at the last second, the Seahawks won on a catch that should not have counted, and fans lit up the NFL, starting the hashtag Things Better Than Replacement Refs, and even started boycotting the NFL entirely.
This is why American sports are not popular outside of America, because of things like this.
Entirely. Hell, even Obama tweeted about it. Thankfully though, that nightmare only lasted about 3 weeks, because the NFL finally made a deal with their refs. Though, that nightmare...
What's wrong with this dude? What the hell is wrong with this dude?
It only lasted about 3 weeks, because the NFL finally made a deal with their refs, giving them a major increase in salary and benefits. And afterwards, the commissioner even apologized to the fans.
Starting with our fans, and we're sorry to have to bring our fans through that. We're sorry to bring the general public through that.
But the rest of the decade had some of the most legendary moments in NFL history.
This guy is some Kung Fu master or something.
Like OBJ's all-time catch, the Packers' miracle in Motown, and the Seahawks throwing away the Super Bowl at the 1-yard line. Yeah, that one hurts. There's one moment, though, that'll be remembered for all the wrong reasons. The biggest cheating scandal in sports history. See, during the 2015 playoffs, the New England Patriots were taking on the Colts when Tom Brady threw a pass that got intercepted. But instead of celebrating, the Colts were pissed because the football felt deflated. So they took the ball over to the sideline and showed the ref. And what happened next shocked the entire football world.
It's the latest NFL scandal, and it's dominating the airwaves.
Deflategate. Deflategate.
Deflategate. From the morning shows to talk radio, instead of talking about the Super Bowl, all eyes are on the ball. This ball.
The NFL found that 11 of the Pats' 12 balls were illegally underinflated, and the Pats immediately got put on blast, getting called cheaters again.
I need to plug my system. So apparently my laptop died. So let's continue.
Cheaters again by angry fans, and having every sports show on TV trash their name. They were even accusing Tom Brady of being the ringleader, because, well, he was the one throwing the balls. And the NFL found some pretty sus texts between Brady and a couple of Patriots employees, talking about air pumps and needles, blowing up balls. One of the dudes even called himself the Deflator. So, after a year-long...
the Deflator.
Long investigation, the NFL put their deflated balls right in the Patriots' mouth, suspending Tom Brady for 4 games, taking 2 first-round picks, and fining the team $1 million. But it still wasn't enough to ruin Tom Brady's career, because that season, he made the greatest comeback in NFL history. See, after dealing with the suspension to start the year, Tom brought the Pats all the way to the Super Bowl. And despite being down 28-3 with only 15 minutes left in the game, they somehow came back and won it all. After this, Tom Brady became the undisputed GOAT, the greatest player in NFL history. And it's not even a debate. Now, between 2017 and 2020, the NFL had its craziest time period ever. The Browns lost every single game for almost 2 years straight. Aaron Hernandez went off the deep end. Pats owner Robert Kraft game for almost 2 years straight. Aaron Hernandez.
Football fans, you can't tell me this Hernandez guy doesn't look like Enzo Fernandez.
Went off the deep end. Pats owner Robert Kraft was busted at a rub and tug. Colin Kaepernick kneeled for the national anthem. Gronk broke the Super Bowl trophy. Saints fans tried to sue the NFL. And Tom Brady went to the Buccaneers and won his 7th ring at 42 years old. Yeah, things got pretty ridiculous.
The reunification of North and South Korea is not just about 2 nations. It's about a united people.
But now, we gotta talk about the most ridiculous player in NFL history. A dude that's known for jumping into goalposts, nuts first, twerking after touchdowns, and even arriving to practice in a hot air balloon. I'm talking about Antonio Brown. And in 2022, the NFL saw him lose his damn mind, because he literally retired in the middle of a game.
Odd situation. Antonio Brown boiled over, very upset on the sideline, took off his shoulder pads. Mike Evans, O.J. Howard trying to convince him to keep them on. Obviously, they were unable to do so. He tossed his shoulder pads, stripped off his shirt and glove, threw those into the crowd, then ran across the field while the teams were still on the field, giving the crowd a peace out sign. I'll let you know when we hear something official on.
That's a very iconic way to retire. I don't know, like, because people remember it for years to come.
His status.
Thank you, Jen. It may be an Antonio Brown out in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that was actually the last time we ever saw AB in the NFL. And since then, the game has had some huge changes. Tom Brady retired, the Raiders moved to Las Vegas, and stars like Patrick Mahomes are earning bags we've never seen, making a ridiculous $503 million for a 10-year contract. That is $500 million for throwing a damn ball. Well look, where the game is headed is even crazy, because recently, the NFL dropped a documentary exposing their plans to implement artificial intelligence into football, where they announced that fans will know exactly what play a team's gonna run, because AI is gonna start showing plays before they even happen.
We can do the same type of thing with next-gen stats. We can overlay player routes and understand the
these are the type of things that spoil the spirit of the game, that spoil the culture of the game. That's uh like why would you want to know what a player is going to do next? Like why would you want to know that? Why? Man.
Play before it even happened.
Yeah, and that's not it, because pretty soon, players won't be able to do anything without a camera on them, because the NFL is going to let fans track them using AI software. Hell, they even want to put mics on every single player, so fans can pick between who they want to hear. Also, there's even been discussions of replacing refs entirely with AI. This is the future of the NFL, and keep in mind, we're only a couple of years into AI, so in 5 or 10 years, the game's going to look a whole lot different.
This was a very interesting one. I don't know, like it was very interesting, very nice. We've come to the end of this video. Catch you guys on the next one, on the next American football series. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notification. Yeah, subscription is free. Just click it. Subscribe button is free. Click it. Click it. Yeah, so catch you guys on the next one. It's Charles on it, and catch you guys on another one. Peace.